Okay, welcome back. So we've got a lot of work to do because I'm going to combine several steps. We left off, I might redo this. You guys probably noticed that already. I think if I add some top layers to that, those bumps will go away, but that's supposed to be smooth. I don't think I glued that in yet. That should pull out. So anyways, I might redo that later, but yeah, ignore that for now. But anyways, this is kind of where we're at now. I just took the wheels off to take the weight off of those. But we are ready for, and I think I showed the view of the instrument panel last time, I think. But we're ready for step 18. Now step 18 is a nice, quick, easy one. That's basically just the stand, the bike stand, which attaches on those little pegs right there, so the bike can stand up. Now this prints in, let's see, each half is 2 pieces. I don't know if you can see a seam line right here, but again, this part is in 2 pieces. Flat edges get glued together, obviously, same with here. And each one of those rods is 2 pieces. Just to give you an idea, it would be, it prints flat like this, and then those just get bonded together to make a round rod. That's what I found kind of works best for making round parts. So yeah, this prints up in about 10 pieces or so, and then you just kind of glue them all together. The ends of the rods, here's a spare one I had. The ends of the rods have a little point that goes into a hole here. You might just need to enlarge that hole a tiny bit to get it to fit. It shouldn't take that much. But anyways, at least now we can have the bike stand up on something. So there's that. That's all of step 18. Step 19 makes these combination shield sword units. The sword pushes in. Of course, it worked perfectly off camera. Shield pushes in, and then it can pull out, and it kind of locks in place there a little bit. So we're going to make 2 of those. Now these are a little bit different because the hole here, of course the other side, the hole would be here. Now these attach on the front wheels, or they can also come off and they just attach right to the rider's forearm like that. So it kind of becomes a shield slash sword. Goes right on his forearm. So to make those, and this is step 19, to make those you'll need to print one of those left and right hand sides. Now I only drew one, you'll just have to print that and then invert it and print it again. And same with this. This prints with support. I already pulled the support off of this one, but it just goes there. And same with this one, you can see where the support material was. I started using the tree support in Kira. It works really well. I mean, look how nicely that all just kind of pulled out of there. And this will require just a tiny bit of cleanup, little piece in there as well. This will require just a tiny bit of cleanup. 80 or 50 grit sandpaper, just along this edge, right along here. Just take it down until the sword slides smoothly. The sword pieces, actually I made it in 2 pieces, so you print 2 of these. I only drew 1. Print 2 of those, and then you just bond them or glue them together this way, like that. And then this will sit in here like that, and then this one just bonds in over top of it. I almost forgot a piece, and that is that bushing that goes in there. That needs quite a bit of cleanup. It's got some boogers on it. So I'll just clean that up a bit. It still has the brim on it, so that'll get cleaned up and pressed into that hole, and then that just goes right over top of it, and then that gives you the end result of this, like so. All right, so those are pretty straightforward, pretty easy stuff there. And yeah, this will need a little bit of cleanup. There's another part, step 20. Let me turn the page and get to step 20. So let me kind of get some of this stuff out of the way. And we'll just kind of flip this over. See, we are almost done. Almost done here. So step 20 right up here, that makes 2 of these. Now in the original model kit, this piece is metal, but when you scale it up 3 times and print it out of ABS, it's plenty strong enough. And of course these 2 pieces, this just needed a little bit of cleanup. It actually fit together pretty well. I just had to sand a little bit along that edge, and I just had to kind of trim that little nub here until it fit together and rotated and worked smoothly. But there's that. And again, those guys there. And also, you'll need, this is, what is it, number 24 it looks like? Yeah, that one right there. Again, I printed it in 2 halves, glue them together, and that then gives you this. And this goes in here, and again, should be just a nice smooth fit. This side, for me, didn't really take that much trimming at all. Just a little bit of light sanding here, and that went right in. This one, however, that one took quite a bit more sanding. This one has to go into that bushing here. And so now this one, that's what that looks like together. This actually goes on the right-hand side of the bike. Okay, so there's that piece. And I kind of did a little bit of a test fit earlier. I think I may have to trim off a little bit off that back edge. We'll find out for sure better later. But that, take that off. That bushing that this piece goes in, I made that a little bit too tight. But when you bond these together, of course that needs cleaned up. When you bond those 2 together, you'll just have to sand one of them. And on this, just kind of clean this up a little bit. It's amazing how much nicer these look after you just sanded them a little bit. But kind of just shave those little boogers off, which I don't know why it does that. Sometimes the printer makes really nice ABS parts, like really clean and smooth, and other times it just leaves those little bumps all over it, and not really sure why. But they shave off easily. That's one thing I do like about ABS, is it's really easy to sand and cut, carve. Just run it through there. That was slick. And we just run that around a few times like that to clean up the hole. And what I would do is, once I get these pieces bonded together, let me just break that brim off a little bit. Once I get these pieces bonded together, I'll get one end to fit in here before I actually bond it into here. So I'll get all of those fitted together. All right. So I'll get back to those. Also, this carries on into step 21. Into step 21, we have these side fairings. Look like that. These go right here. And they go on by 2 little pins, go here, or pegs that go here and here, and then go into those holes here. Those pegs are, again, I printed them flat this way, like I've done every other round part. And so those will go on there, and then there's a lens for the light. That is that part HF for that left-hand side. The lens for the light goes on just like that, and I'll just kind of super glue that in place. All right, and that should fit nice for you. Whatever glue you like. I used CA on clear ones before and it didn't fog it up, so I'm going to try CA on this one again. If it fogs it up, I'll just cut it off and do it again. This lens here took all of like literally 4 minutes to print. And now when I did this, I printed 2 bottom layers, 3 walls, and 0 top layers, but it did leave a few little strings along the top. I'll just kind of cut those off. Now when you load this lens into your slicer, I'm using repeat your host, and sometimes Cura, but for this I use repeat your host. When you load this into your slicer, For some reason it didn't, when I drew it, I tried to orientate the axes so it would lay flat on the bottom. Apparently it wants to lay just a tiny bit up, like one corner up a little bit. So before you hit slice, make sure you click the button that says lay flat. And then that will take that and lay it perfectly flat. And then you'll get a much nicer print. But again, that will just glue in here. And of course, one for the left and one for the right sides. And this, I put a brim on that, didn't really need to. I typically only use brims when I print with ABS because I don't have problems with PLA warping off the bed during the print. And this is the infill. This will print with infill. Typically, just get something like a butter knife in there, and that should just pop right on out of there. Should. The other one came out pretty easy. There it goes. Just like that. And this has, since I clicked support bridges, actually deselected don't support bridges, something like that, there'll be a little bit in here as well. But again, it should just pop right out. All right, I'll clean up a little bit more on my own time. And what else do we have? Right now, you might hear the printer running in the background. That is printing this piece right here. Part number 7, that's for the left side, part number 6 is for the right side. They're just mirror image, I only drew one. So you print one, flip it, do the other one. And a few other little smaller pieces to print that I have not printed yet. But that piece right there should take about another 6 hours. I just started it a few minutes ago, but it should take about 6 hours. So hopefully that'll be done tonight, and I'll get that one done tomorrow. And then we'll be able to finish up, you know, a few other little pieces like that guy and that guy here. So hopefully I'll be able to get those on. And step 22, we're just moving right along here. Step 22 is really easy, only like 2 pieces. I don't know what that part is. It's a little side thing, a little side frame piece, one on each side, so that's all for that. Again, I just drew one, mirror image it for the other one. Then the last step here is 23, the little crates that go on the side. That'll probably be in another video. So at the end of this video, we'll be done at step 22. So that'll pretty much be a completed bike, minus the little cargo things. But yeah, we're getting really close. So let me get some of this other stuff put together and show you what it looks like, and we'll get the side fairings on, and I guess I'll go ahead and put the wheels on, and to get ready for those. Now, something else I'm still going to have to do, and that is the other hands, because if you remember, I only did one set of hands in the fist. There are other hands, one with an open hand so he can hold his blaster, and another hand to shape. I think that will allow him to hold on to the handlebars, maybe? I don't know. I've been putting those off because I suck at drawing hands, and these were the easy ones. I did the easy ones first, and they came out okay. I'm actually kind of proud of them, I guess. But the other ones I think are going to be a real pain. So I got to do the hands and the blaster, the gun, rifle, whatever you want to call it. And also I have to figure out a way to make the head stay on. I've got a few ideas, but I still have to play around with that for a little bit. But yeah, this thing, I wish I can zoom my camera out a little bit more. But this thing is really kind of coming together. The only thing I'm not liking right now is the gap in the front. I mean, I can squeeze it together. I still want to see if I can get that to hold it together a little bit better. I think the problem is where the peg here goes into the hole. What I might need to do is just carve that hole out a little bit, just to relieve it a little bit so it can set in there better. But no, we'll see. So yeah, let me get some of those other parts put together and get those other parts off the printer. And hopefully when I get back to you here in just a minute, this thing will be like upright and on its wheels. Well, I'll show you how to put these parts together. show you how they fit, hopefully how they fit. But yeah, so let me get some more stuff done. I'll get right back with you. Okay, so I got quite a bit of stuff put together, and so I now have both of these, one for each side, and of course they have the swords. You can just push in here, and that should come out a little further. There it goes. And of course that just goes back in. So I got both of those all put together. They're pretty, you know, it's pretty straightforward. Not too complicated there. We got both of these. Now this is one of those pins, printed up in 2 pieces, got bonded together. Just slides in there. That didn't need too much cleanup work, just a little bit of sanding maybe. And of course these pins that go here, that one's a little bit tight, there you go. But I think tighter is better than too loose. And of course this end here will go in the hole there. All right, and that needed a little bit more sanding. And of course there are 2 sets of those, one for left side, one for right side. And I now have both of these side pieces with the light lenses installed and the pegs installed there. I did not glue those in. And also these look different from the ones in the kit. The ones in the kit had like a little half round piece that kind of slotted in. I'm not quite sure why they did that. I didn't really see the point in that. So those are just pressed in there. Again, they're not glued. They're a nice tight fit. I did have to do a little bit of sanding on there to get this to fit. So let's start putting some of this stuff together. The first thing I want to do is put the front tire on. And so we'll take the front tire here, and I just kind of stuck that screw in just so I wouldn't lose any parts. And I labeled this one for front just to make sure I didn't get them screwed up. And this goes up in here, then the washer, and then the screw. And then a little cover here. Again, it's a tight enough fit. I don't need to glue that in place. It just snaps in place like that. And again, I would glue it, but I want to be able to take the tire off later, maybe. I don't want to be able to not take the tire off. All right, next step, we take, not that one, we take this one. And again, this is going to go on like that, and we need that hole at top. And that's going to go on like that, and then we need the one of these for the left side, which would be this one. Notice little cutouts here go down, so they're less noticeable. So this will then go here, like that, and then this hole, that hole, goes here, and that pin goes here. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I said this before or not, but I opened this back up and I kind of cut out that hole a little bit just to give a little bit more room for that to go in. All right, so we'll go and put this on. If I can find, let me go and get that in. And, come on. There you go. Got the hole in there, and a pin in like so. And I think what I'm going to do, what I did already was I sliced off just that corner right here. But I think I need to do a little bit more just off of that corner, which would be like right here. And what I'll probably, well, I'll do this in the CAD as well. I'll just kind of round those corners off and slice those corners off in CAD, so that when you print it, they should be fine. But that'll just give a little bit more room right there. And I'm going to take this one back out. that hole again, right there. What I might do, actually I think I will, I'm going to reprint these just a little bit taller because it's barely engaging into the hole there. So I'll make that maybe another 3 millimeters taller, I think would be good, which is only 1 millimeter in the CAD different. Next up, take this front piece here, and those two pins go in those two holes here. It looks like it's going to be a little tight right there, a little bit close. But hopefully should work. And I'm still not sure exactly why this has to do that. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I don't see a reason for that yet. If right now that's at the extended, if I shorten it up, that'll pull this wheel way up too high. So I think it's got to be in the lengthened view. Let's put that in, see how this looks. And kind of what I was afraid of, a little bit of interference, a little bit of fit problems. Let me see here. Maybe I should have tested this before I actually put it together. If that comes up, I could notch out here a little bit, but I shouldn't have to do that. I tell you what, let me mess around with this off camera a little bit and I'll see if I can figure out why that's not fitting very well. Okay, I got that to fit. So what I did, let me pop this back off. I trimmed the back corner here, which again, I'll do that in the CAD so you shouldn't have to. I thinned it down a little bit right here, which again, I'll do that in the CAD so you won't have to. And I shaved down a little bit right here. Again, I'll do that in the CAD. So yours should go together a little bit easier. So again, with this on as shown, just take this piece and snap it on like so. And there's that. There's still a little bit of a gap in here, but not right here, but not as bad as it was. I think I'm okay with it the way it is. So now next thing, we just got to flip this over and do the same to the other side. So again, it's kind of bulky here. I'm going to have to try to manage this both hands as best as I can. And then I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Also, this is going to have to be up this way some because there's another part I haven't printed yet that goes in here. It goes from here to here. So maybe that'll kind of help hold that in position as well, so that's not too floppy here. So that should help a little bit that way. So anyways, let me flip this over and get the other side done. All right, and something else I'm going to have to do is reprint these pins. I sanded them down a little bit too much. They're a little bit too loose in these holes, so they don't like stay in very well when I put them in. But for now I think it's good enough, especially the one on the other side. This one feels a little bit tighter. Actually, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon on this one. Just go around that a little bit, get that one edge off. But yeah, the one on the other side is definitely too loose. This one might be okay. Yeah, can't even get that one in there. There we go. This one will probably be all right, but definitely the one on the other side is too loose. This one, well, it's holding up. Something's trying to push it back out. All right, well, I'm going to try to stand this thing up on the stand, and again, it's not going to fit in the view here very well. So let me get this stood up on the stand, and then I'll get you some different angles of what it looks like. Okay, actually, before we stand this up on its wheels, let's take a look at the last few pieces for the actual bike. And let's see, on the instructions, that would be on step 21. We have these pieces here. And you know, I just realized I never printed G1 yet, but I think for the bike those aren't needed. I think those are used when you put it in the backpack position. So I still need to print G1. Let's take a look at these two side pieces and these parts here, which is 102. So the finished part looks like this, and there's a left and a right hand side, and then the parts 102 make up the little bracket here for one of the little side cargo pod things. So the main part looks like this, and then the other little bracket piece printed in two pieces, two halves, look like this, and they just bond together. They just bond together like this, and then go up from the back side right in here, and they do fit. There they go, just like that. And again, those are there to hold the little luggage thing. This does print with support material. I still have a little bit here I haven't broken out yet. The support material comes out fairly easily, and of course that's just one of the little smaller pieces. I just kind of forgot to get that earlier, but as you can see, comes out fairly easily once you kind of get a hold of it. The main part, there it goes, and I just got to dig that out a little bit with the blade, but the main part is actually this piece right here, and that was in here, you know, like that, and as you can see, it just all pulled out, pretty much just one piece. Just slipped a butter knife in under here and popped that right out. So those are, again, those side pieces. And also we need to print two of these. This is for step 22 here, and that's all that's on step 22 is those side pieces. So again, there's a left and a right hand side. And let me show you where those go. But as you can see here, the last step is 23. So my next video, which I'll try to get out next week, will just be step 23, the little cargo or luggage pods. That's actually what's on the printer right now. And just to give you a heads up, I've got a couple of parts printed. I've got a couple of parts printed here, and there's one of the side pieces and the other side like that. And of course, as you can see, this is going to open up like that. Can't quite hold this together very well, but that just kind of opens up. And this actually printed as one part. On the kit, there's actually 3 pieces. I just drew it all together as one piece, and actually works a lot better than I thought it would have. I printed it this way, and I used Cura with tree support, and that worked really, really well. So again, the other parts of that are still in the printer. So again, the next video, hopefully next week, will be that and the other hands and his blaster, and then that'll pretty much be it. But at the end of this video, we will have a pretty much completed and standing motorcycle. So as you can see, I've already got one of those parts on. This thing is just so floppy, so flimsy here. But there's one of those side pieces on, and it just goes up in here and presses into the hole like that. And then the side parts, let me see which way, make sure I put it on the right way. Looks like this one goes on this side, and the hole here just plugs in here. Again, that other hole's not used for now, and then that hole just goes on the back axle part right here. So that just goes on like so. And yeah, that's in. And now I'm going to try to stand this thing up and put the other parts on the other side. But let me kind of do that off camera because it is kind of big and floppy. So I'll get back to you once it's all stood up. I'm actually going to end this video here. But there it is with the rider and the bike all standing. Just get a few little close-ups here. Now I do have to redraw a couple of parts. The cover, the piece that covers the screw that holds the wheel on in here, it didn't fit in here, so I'm going to have to redraw that. Now that was printed a while ago, so I'm just going to retitle it as a modified rear. So in the file, in a zip file for these last parts, I'll have to print the modified rear and also the one for the front. Had a similar problem with the one in the front. It fits okay, it's just a little bit short. But again, that one goes right in here. So two parts that you might have already printed, you'll have to print again, but again they'll be called modified front and modified rear. But I'm actually standing back quite a ways to get all of that in. But there it is. Now the next video I do will be the little baggage pods, cargo pods. And then I'll do one more final video that'll probably be about 3 or 4 minutes, just with all the basic glamour shots, different poses, and I still have not tried the backpack mode. I'm just imagining the thing collapsing under the weight, but I'll try to get a few glamour shots of that in the very last video. Again, that last video will only be a few minutes long, just to kind of show it off. But there we have it so far. Looks cool, but man, that bike is just really floppy flimsy. So once you get it posed, it's okay for photos and stuff, but yeah, just maneuvering it and playing with it's almost impossible. But anyways, hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.